Hello, and welcome to Karmatalks, a monthly video podcast dedicated to yoga studio owners sharing their stories and their passion for authentic health. My name is Yulia Aleynikova, and I'm a casual yoga practitioner and a content manager at Karmasoft, yoga and fitness studios management software. And I'm located in Whistler, and as you can see, there is some snow behind me. And today we're gonna warm up together because it's winter, and I could use a bit of a warm up. Okay, and I have a perfect guest for this. Perfect guest for this. Her name is Annmarie Lynn, and she is the owner of Hot Yoga Palm Springs. Hello, Annmarie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Warm.
Doing great. Exactly. So what's the temperature now in Palm Springs?
It's 105. No, just kidding. No, it's actually starting to cool down. So we're like in our 80s today, definitely in the 80s. At night it gets cooler.
Good. I could definitely use some warm up,
It's
a little.
perfect weather here right now.
Excellent. See, well,
Mhm.
there are benefits to being nice and warm.
Oh yes,
I'd like
definitely.
I'd like to share a few things about you because you have a nice, intriguing biography. Annmarie is also a Bikram yoga and Inferno Pilates instructor, and I'm just gonna read your bio on your website because it's nice and beautifully describes it describes your lifestyle and your passion. So Annmarie traveled the country with the auto show circuit as a national spokesmodel for Hyundai, and she stumbled upon Bikram yoga in one of the many cities she visited. As a former gymnast, she had been plagued daily with a great deal of constant pain caused by multiple injuries. Upon taking up Bikram yoga, she instantly began to experience relief, and 3 months later, felt better than she had in decades. She quickly became addicted to the practice, and then she flew to India and attended the Bikram teacher training and was taught by Bikram himself. Wow, how exciting! Right? I didn't. Not everybody has had the fortune to do that, I guess. So after graduating the training, she attended the Inferno Pilates training in Vegas in 2017. And since then, she has been changing the world by helping others to feel and look great.
Oh, that's very sweet.
So here we are. Yes. Thanks for taking your time to join us today. I'm very excited about this conversation, and I I'd like to tell you how this talk is gonna be structured. We're gonna warm up ourselves with some introductory questions. Then I'm gonna ask you 5 silly hot questions. So it's gonna be getting hotter and hotter, and finally we'll get to the burning hot questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's do this. So first, I'd like to ask you about your insights that you have brought from your gymnastics background into practicing and running a yoga studio.
Well, I started gymnastics. I think I was like 6 years old, gymnastics and dancing. So I was always very flexible. And from being a gymnast for quite a while, I fell a few times and had some injuries. And because of the injuries, in my 20s, I started to get pain in my neck, my shoulders, just a lot of stiffness. And it started to be pretty painful. And so one of my colleagues that I trained with had said, "Why don't you try a Bikram class?" And I said, what the heck is that? Like, I didn't know. First, I didn't know that Bikram was a man. I thought it was just a type of yoga. And so I took my very first Bikram class in Los Angeles for 90 minutes. And I'm like, this is going to be a piece of cake. It'll be easy for me since I was a gymnast and flexible. It'll be no problem.
Yes.
It was the worst ever. It was so hard. It was nothing like what I thought it would be. I was very dehydrated. I felt dizzy. I tried to leave the room and I was told I could not leave the room.
I did the same
There
thing.
is a reason for that too, because some people are like, oh, why do Bikram teachers make you stay in the room? There's a reason for it. It's a safety issue. We don't want students running out of the room and passing out. So the best thing to do is, and what my teacher said is just to sit down, breathe, and it will pass. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is not going to pass. I'm literally going to throw up, right? And it passed. And then I stood back up and I finished the class. And the rest of the day, had a horrible, horrible headache. I was actually getting sick. And I just remember going to bed early and waking up feeling amazing. And I was hooked. And then I went right back and did like a 30-day challenge. And I just loved it. And then after 6 months of practicing everything, the pain, any anxiety that I ever had, I remember being in a relationship at the time that was probably the best relationship. It really, really helped me just kind of calm down and just relax, and I could sleep better. And I felt so good. And I was traveling, I was in different cities, every week, just, different auto shows. And I just felt so good. And I'm just like, you know what? I would love to teach this type of yoga. And I inquired about it. And I remember some teachers were like, do you think that you could be a teacher, a Bikram teacher? And I'm like, why wouldn't I be able to be a Bikram teacher? I don't, because I only started practicing. My practice was maybe 2 years max. And I didn't have a huge support system in I guess you'd say, the desert. I don't know why. I just know that I practiced at 2 studios in the desert, and I was kind of going back and forth because they were both great studios. But I never really had the support to go to India to do the training. And it's probably because at the time, Bikram, the guy, was, going through a lot of stuff. There was just a lot of negativity and bad stuff going on with him. So, of course, both studio owners and managers were like, it's probably not the best idea to go to India right now, especially with everything that's going on in India and with him. And so people were sort of pushing me to do other teacher trainings, the 26 and 2. And the more people that were pushing me not to do the training with Bikram, the more I was like, you know what, I'm going to go. And I'm going to go to India. And I did. Mm-hmm. And it was the best experience of my life. I had a great experience with Bikram, his daughter, Laju, Anurag. I actually graduated with him, the son. And what a beautiful family. And I had the best training, and there was no drama. It was, I mean, there was a little bit of drama, but of course.
To spice things up, right?
I think just getting there was drama. The first week, I'm like, I got to go home. This is something, I can't do this. This is insane. It was insane. And I was okay. I just, I think I talked to Bikram, and then he sort of calmed me down, because it's we're in India, and the other teacher trainings have been in Acapulco and Los Angeles, but this is completely different. Yeah. I love India. It was the best experience of my entire life. I got to the training, and I'm grateful to be here today to have a studio in Palm Springs. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my Bikram training and the family. So okay. I owe them a lot.
So it all worked out for you.
It did. It did work out. It definitely was hard, getting here, after graduating, and then, looking for places in Palm Springs, and everything was super, super expensive. And my boss and, one of the other teachers that owned the other studio, mm-hmm. She's just somebody that I look up to, Denise Dewberry. I told her, I'm like, I really, want to open a studio in Palm Springs, and this is my plan, and I'm definitely going to do it. And she's like, I've always wanted to have a studio in Palm Springs. We got together and we started a plan together. And so that's kind of how this all happened.
Wow, that's a great story.
Yeah, it's been tough, you know, just being a new business owner and trying to just get everything off of the ground. And then, yeah, we've done well, pretty well. And I've been through, you know, a lot before the coronavirus, like dealing with, you know, having the studio and being a new business, and then, you know, falling and getting up and falling and getting up. And finally, you know, I think I fell for the last time and I got up and I haven't fell down since. So this coronavirus has taught me, number one, patience, gratitude, and just not to take anything for granted anymore. So,
Great. I love this.
yeah.
One insight from the coronavirus for me was just appreciating one day at a time, just really enjoying one day at a time.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was doing it already, but with this coronavirus thing, I just realized that it was kind of this idea of just taking one day at a time. It reinforced this perception of reality.
Oh, absolutely.
And and I feel like now it's not going away. Like I do treat every day as a wonder, and it's just one day at a time.
And it's just so weird that it's everywhere. It's not like something that's, you know, you hear about in one country. It's like, you know, my family lives in Ireland and it's same thing over there, you know, all over the world. It's like a dream. It doesn't even seem real.
Yep, it's like we're all in this dream together, and hopefully we'll wake up.
I
2021, we'll wake up.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, but a lot of good things have definitely, you know, have come out of it for me too.
Great.
So,
Well, thank you for sharing your story of discovering Bikram yoga. And also, you are also teaching Pilates. And my
yeah.
biggest question, because I'm not so familiar with Pilates, I mean, I've probably done a few Pilates classes, um, but I'm curious about the difference between Pilates and Inferno Pilates.
Sure, great question. We get that a lot. So there's mat Pilates, and then there's the reformers, right? You have, you know, the machines. So we don't do reformers here at this studio. So yes, there's mat Pilates, and then there's Infernal Hot Pilates. So I was trained by Gabrielle Walters in Las Vegas, and she does like she trains like all the showgirls, and she has patented this amazing practice, which is called Infernal Hot Pilates. So you have the heat, which is 95 degrees, and then you have the humidity, which is 40. And it's a little bit of yin yang. So there's the Pilates principles. There's a little bit of Bikram, like we kind of like mix it up, and then there's cardio. We use a Tabata. So it's basically, you know, work hard for 20, rest for 20, rest for 10. So it's a high intensity interval program. It's for beginners. We don't do any jumping jacks or where we're gonna, you know, hurt ourselves or anything like that. I mean, there is advanced Infernal Hot Pilates that, you know, using the weights, but at this studio we teach like the basic regular Infernal Hot Pilates for beginners, and it's amazing. You'll see your whole body will transform within just literally within a few weeks.
Wow, that's
Especially
amazing.
your stomach, because we do, you know, sit-ups. We'll do like 5 different sit-ups, and we do like 20 reps per 20 reps per and we just keep going, and then, you know, we switch it up. And so at my studio we do like different themes. Like we have like the lights. It's something that I started myself, like with the disco lights. So I started this class called Disco Infernal Hot Pilates. We have the lights, and we have this awesome music, and we dress up, which is also really fun. And now we're doing that at the river on Friday nights. Like 2 weeks ago, we had a tribute to Van Halen, and we all dressed up in the 80s and we played his music, and that was pretty cool. So every Friday we do like a different theme.
That sounds like fun. So is it popular? Inferno Pilates. Is it popular?
It's so popular in LA. It's popular in New York. And we brought it to the desert. I think it would be, yeah, it'll be 3 years ago between both of the studio owners. And now I think we have like about 6 Infernal Hot Pilates teachers in the desert right now. So it's popular, and Friday we're gonna have a party, a costume party. It's gonna be angels and devils party. And
Okay.
so we'll have we'll have a little contest. Yeah, it'll be fun. And then that's at the river, and that's going to be outside. So social distancing. You come in with a mask, you take the mask off. So just following all the guidelines.
Excellent. Yes. So to me, when I first heard Inferno Pilates, to me it was also the spiritual aspect of it, because when you talk about Inferno, that's and I actually looked it up, the meaning of this word. So it's about very big fire, like something burning so intensely. And I feel
Right.
with this pandemic and all the COVID situation, we are burning away a lot of the patterns that don't work for us, and a lot of the things that are not important in our lives, and some things just fall off. And it's a lot about letting things go. And this metaphor of this fire that burns everything you don't need away, it's a beautiful kind of illustration of what's happening with us, what's happening with the planet, and why we should nourish our bodies, and why we should do yoga and strive for for a healthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
Burning things away, the things we don't need, right?
Oh yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, yes, that's great. And hopefully I'll get to try one of those Inferno Pilates.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we don't have anything. We don't have any hot yoga studios here in Whistler, but maybe wherever my life takes me, I'll definitely try. I'll try to make it happen.
Oh yeah, you gotta try a class.
And also, I wanted to ask you, yesterday uh, when we talked about arranging this conversation, you mentioned that you are starting a new class,
Mhm.
and it's called Pole Fitness. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Pole
Yes,
Fitness?
whole fitness.
Yes, correct. So I've never heard about it, and I've looked at your website, and I kind of got an idea, but I would like you to share, what is it all about, Pole Fitness, and what was the inspiration for it?
Okay, well, being here in Palm Springs, it's a resort town. I have just a lot of, people calling from LA and San Diego, especially girls, like, oh, do you guys do birthday parties and, like group events? And like, we do birthday parties, we do, all kinds of stuff that we like set up for birthday parties, trapeze yoga, groups of girls coming in, and we get like champagne and cake, and it was actually really fun. And then I just remember this one girl asking me, like, do you guys would ever consider doing pole yoga? I'm like pole, like strip pole, like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, yeah, just. And then I was thinking about it, and I just remember that when I lived in Los Angeles, I just remember a group of girls, we did a pole fitness class, and it was really, really fun. It's really hard. And so I've had several people ask if I would ever put poles in the studio, and I was just like, probably not. We have our trapeze, we have our rope wall yoga, and we use that room, which is called the moon room, which is the cool room. That's a huge room. And we do yin and vinyasa, and it's not something I wanted to do. I didn't want to have, to start putting poles into the cement after our brand new floors and our ceiling. It's just, I was just like, I'm not going to do it. Somebody else can open up a pole studio. So then it was probably a year ago, we had a nightclub in our shopping center that had to shut down.
Okay.
And it was a big nightclub. It was very popular. And they had two poles. How I know that, because I remember going in there and having a drink one time with my fiance. And I just remember watching girls climb all the way up to the pole. Like they were like tall poles. And I was just like, wow, that looks super, super hard. Anyways, to make a long story short, they closed down, and a theater company took over. And I had asked my landlord, what are they doing with those poles? Are they going to keep them in the theater, or like, what are they going to do? He's like, do you want them? And I said, well, not both, but maybe I could use one and put one in the moon room and have like complement the studio, or that room, the moon room, with the rope wall yoga and the trapeze, and have the pole. So the pole will be like sort of like the last thing you do. So my idea was, using the rope wall yoga, doing your push-ups and sit-ups and stretching and just getting the upper body strength, doing inversions on the trapeze, like going upside down, practicing your handstands. And the pole is really the last thing that you would do.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like when we first got it installed, being a gymnast, I was really good at pole, and I could do, backhands. There's a lot of stuff that I could do, that I was good at. But climbing up, I'm like, how, I don't understand, like how do I even how do I do this? And so I have two girls that teach pole came into the studio, and it's just there's a way to do it, and it is hard, and you have to practice. You can't just think you're just going to get into it and you're going to be able to climb up and do all this stuff. You have to be really, really careful. So I think it was, about a week ago, I was, practicing just doing sit-ups and push-ups. And I started doing handstands. And well, first I was on my shoulders, and I was like kicking my legs up, and it was super easy for me. And if I'm like, I can do that, I'll just start doing, like, I did like a handstand, and my feet caught the pole, and I was like doing some splits, and I was just like practicing. And then I came back up. I'm like, I cannot believe that I got this the first time. And then I did it again, and I fell on my back.
Oh, no.
It was so scary because I went over, and I didn't know where my legs were going, and I fell right on my back. So it's kind of like I did a front walkover, and which I used to be able to do very easily, but now I haven't practiced. I need someone to spot me. And then I got scared. I was just like, I can't be doing this. Like, I need someone to spot me. And then I just kept practicing. It's definitely hard, but it's baby steps. So I have really, really good teachers. And we're going to start off slow as just doing privates, one-on-one. And then after that, I'd like to do like group classes, like maybe 6, have a couple girls or guys co-ed on the trapeze, and then have 2 on the rope wall. And then the pole will be the last, because once you're feeling strong, and then you can start, the technique and the little tricks that you can do, even spinning, doing the fireman and all that. I actually can do that. But there's a lot of things like, this one teacher, she's just amazing. She's great. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Especially, birthday parties and stuff.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know, to me, pole fitness sounds smoking hot.
It is pretty hot. It is. It's hard. But there's no like high heels or anything like that.
Well, that makes it much easier.
I can't do the high heels because of the floor. And it's a static pole, which means it doesn't it doesn't spin, which makes it a little bit harder. But it's going to be good. You gotta, practice your push-ups. It's all the upper body. And as women, we have very strong legs. So once, you get warmed up, there's a lot of things that you can do, but it's going to be a good workout. So it's not going to be just pole. It's going to be, the trapeze with the rope wall and all that. So it'll be one class.
Okay, excellent. No, I'm excited for it. Yes, all good luck with this, and all the best with your pole fitness journey. I guess you're about to start it. I think you're just starting it.
Well,
soon,
probably
right?
I'm hoping November. It just depends on, right now our studio is closed. I had to close just last week. We're open, close, and now just following all the guidelines and staying closed until, we're into, back to the red, and then we'll reopen. In the meantime, I'm at the beautiful river amphitheater, and it's gorgeous there. We have, waterfalls. They have grass out for the students, and it's beautiful. So we're doing Bikram yoga outside, but with modifications, of course, because it is Bikram, and, I do have to modify some of the postures. But so I feel blessed that, I'm able to teach outside, even though I really appreciate the hot room, and it really helps the students with depression, anxiety, and just injuries. But at the same time, we have to follow the guidelines. As much as I want to stay open, I can't. We just have to wait. In the meantime, I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes, like planning the pole fitness teaching outside, doing Zoom. I'm busier than I've ever been in my life with all the stuff that's happening.
Wow. Yes, that sounds very busy. A lot of things are going on. Yes.
A lot of things going on.
And we are getting hotter, hotter and hotter. We have our silly hot questions now. Okay, question number one. Do you think it's convenient to do Bikram yoga, which requires 40 degrees Celsius temperature, in Palm Springs, where it's hot by default? Well, at least that's what I think. I have never been there, but that's what I heard. And it doesn't take much to heat up the room in Palm Springs.
Well, you're not getting, I mean, a lot of people are like, you're in Palm Springs, just open the doors, you have the heat.
Yep,
It's not
exactly.
the same thing. It's not. You come into the studio, you have the nice air conditioning, and you go into the room and you have that humidity that's going to loosen up all the muscles, and then you have the heat. And with the heat and the humidity together, that's when the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are outside, and sometimes it is 105 degrees. No, we do not have the humidity. But Bikram is 105 and 40. So when we're outside right now, it's like I said, we do have to modify. And yeah, you can't just be outside with it being super hot because you need the humidity. And sometimes it's 120 degrees here in Palm Springs.
Wow. Wow. Well,
It's very, very hot. Yeah, but now is the perfect weather. It's starting to get cool.
yes, because it's winter. Right?
Yes, it is. It's winter here, but this morning it was nice. It was, in the 80s and the sun was out, and it was nice to be outside.
Yes, it's very nice to be outside. Yes, it's true, especially when you have the perfect temperature like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's overcast and cold here, and I think it's very humid, and it's just it's raining. It's not snowing. It snowed a couple of days ago, but it's still cold. And yeah.
I miss the snow. I mean, I'm from Michigan, and I spent a lot of, winters with the snow.
Oh my God. Sorry to interrupt you, but I actually have a bear passing by my patio.
A bear?
A bear. He's right there. He's just coming down. It's
wow. That's amazing.
I know. I'm like, oh. I was immediately, distracted, and I couldn't really hear what you were saying because I'm like, he's back. No, I've seen him a few times before. He's coming by. I call him a teenager bear because he's not a fully grown up. I think he's about 2 years old or something, like 3 years old. And he just passed by my patio.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
I know, it's great. Well, it's distracting. I feel bad now because I feel like I should focus on listening.
Oh no, I would be very distracted if I saw a bear in my backyard.
But that's one of the yes, exactly. Well, that's one of the reasons. It's kind of like a good excuse to be distracted because
right?
It's a bear.
Exactly.
So I probably shouldn't feel too bad. But yeah. So anyway, he probably wanted to say hi, and I was busy. So.
Aww.
Yeah. So sorry, what were you saying, Annmarie?
What were we talking about? The weather from Michigan. I'm from Michigan, so
Oh, yes,
I
yes.
miss the snow.
Yes. Do you have bears there too?
What's that?
Do you have bears there too?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh,
I
okay.
grew up in the suburbs, and not exactly where I live, but yeah, there's bears up north.
Okay, so it's not too mind blowing for you because some people they can't believe we actually have bears here outside of our house.
It reminds me like when I was in India, just, walking outside, and then it's like, the holy cows are like there. And my roommate used to give me a hard time because I used to like every morning, like give them fruit, and then they'd like be all at the door, and I'd feed the monkeys, and I got in trouble for that because they're, I was told that they're dangerous, but I used to feed them too. And then they just started, one time they came into our room.
Oh no, that's dangerous.
It was a little scary.
Who knows what they can do, right?
I know. I remember because we used to wash our clothes in the sink and hang them outside on the tree, and they'd come and they would take our clothes, and sometimes they would wear them. I'm serious.
They wear your clothes.
They
wow.
would put like our yoga gear on and just, swing from tree to tree. This is true.
Wow, excellent.
True.
Why not?
That's in India. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like India actually. Yes, very exotic.
Mhm.
Very exotic. Okay, so my next question is about the tree pose. Do you agree that the tree pose reveals the subtle differences in human flexibility?
And you know what? I think tree pose is one of the most amazing poses in the Bikram series because you're balancing on one leg and it's getting your spine straight and your shoulders straight. And there's just something about when you're in Namaskar and you're just balancing. It's one of my favorite postures. And then going into toe, which is you're just stretching the back of your legs and increases just all kinds of blood flow. It's one of my favorite postures. So yes, I do agree.
Yes, okay, flexibility is very, very important.
Absolutely.
Well, that's I'm no expert in yoga, but I know that breathing is a big thing, and you know, flexibility and stretching, all that. That's what yoga is all about. So
Exactly.
great. And the tree pose, Tadasana.
Awesome.
What tree is it?
Oh, well, there's a few different types of tree poses. The one that we do in Bikram is you're going to pick up your foot and then your right foot goes all the way up to your thigh. And it's up high. You have to bring it up high and you push your right knee back. But when you go into toe, you want to bring your right foot down. And some tree poses, I've noticed that people that don't practice Bikram a lot will put like their right foot on their thigh, which is it's different. But for let me see, maybe I can just demonstrate it right here.
Sure.
All right, here we go. So this is tree pose. So you pick up your right foot all the way up, heel touching the costume, as Bikram says, the costume. And you want to be careful of the right knee. You want to slowly push the right knee back as you bring your shoulders back. Two shoulders in one line, your two hips in one line, and your two knees in one line. Then you bring your right palm up
Uh-huh.
and
Wow.
left palm up. Your chin is up. Breathe. Now we go into toe pose transition with our 60-minute class, which Bikram will kill me for this because he doesn't like the 60-minute version. But for transitioning, you want to bring your foot down to about the center of your thigh, so you're opening up this area here. And then you want to look down 4 feet ahead of you. And that's when you start bringing your body down from the lower spine. This is where you're increasing your flexibility and you're stretching the back of your legs as you're coming down. So yeah, great posture.
Thank you. Thank you for this demonstration.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
And what kind of tree it is? What tree? Is there a name for a tree?
It could be any tree.
Any tree? I have some pine trees here, I think. So maybe
I love trees. Yeah, I don't really have a name for that. Yeah, trees are beautiful. I miss like the trees in Michigan. That's something I really do miss, like the beautiful trees, especially
yes.
fall, the leaves and everything. Yeah.
Yes, but then you get the heat in the desert, right?
Yes.
Hot.
It's very, very hot. But right now I can't complain. It's nice and cool.
Exactly. Well, let's keep this talk hot because I want to be warmed up. I want to be as hot as you are. I want to be as warm and comfortable. And maybe by the end of this conversation, I'll take this sweater off. This sweater keeps me warm now, but I wouldn't mind to feel warmer and just, you know, be able to just wear my t-shirt at home.
Right.
Yes, and so let's keep it hot with my last silly hot question. What kind of coffee, espresso, latte, or iced coffee is best to drink before going to a Bikram yoga class?
What coffee is best? I personally just drink Starbucks black coffee. That is for me. I wouldn't suggest coffee with, you know, a lot of milk in it or not sweetener. Not sweetener, like the stuff that you put in it, like the flavoring, like a lot of that. I would just stick with like simple black or just maybe a little bit of like, you know, maybe 0.5% of milk or almond milk. Almond milk is really good. I love almond milk. But for me, I just a small block of coffee and then that's it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you drink any coffee and then you can do yoga because coffee dehydrates, and when
It
it's hot,
does. Yes, but like I said, for me, it's just like 1 cup. But I mean, I wouldn't suggest drinking like a large coffee right before class. You want to
Yeah.
drink a lot of water. But like when you wake up in the morning, if that's what you drink, then you can drink any coffee you want. But like I said, I would, yeah, you're right, because you'll be, you know, you want to be hydrated. You want to drink as much water as you can, and not, you know, tons of coffee. But like if you're gonna drink coffee, just whatever you like, but just try to have it at least 3 hours before class.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, this was a tricky question because I kind of wanted to catch you because
Aw.
because for me personally, I would never drink coffee before doing yoga or any kind of exercise because it dehydrates me and it makes me
Yeah.
hyper and I just don't feel very good. I'm very sensitive, but I guess people are different. So I wanted to see your experience, your practice with this.
Yeah, before, like for me, before Bikram class, I would never drink coffee before class. I would
Yes,
have water.
exactly.
But just waking up and having coffee a couple hours later,
Uh-huh.
that's me. Everyone's
Okay.
different.
Yes. Or maybe you just drink it after because you feel like maybe a little bit tired or something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, a little pick me up after
Exactly.
sweating for 90 minutes.
Yes, okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so now we're very close to our very hot, burning questions. Ooh, Inferno.
Inferno.
What is the hottest, funniest thing that happened to you recently? Well, besides this talk, of course.
Recently, let me think. Nothing really funny has happened to me in 2020, I have to say. I can't think of anything really funny. What comes to my mind is I used to do a lot of slasher films. So talk about hot. I've been killed so many different times in these movies. They're really, really bad. Some of them are good, and some of them, some of them are science fiction, but some of them are just really gory. So I have a prosthetic head that was made for me for one of my movies. Actually, I used it for 2 movies, and I've had it for a while. The prop guy actually gave it to me, and so I would prank people with it and bring it out during Halloween. And I think it was just 2018 at the other Bikram studio. I think it was Giselle that was teaching, and, and I got there early, and I had the head, and I actually put it in the yoga room with like a blanket. I think she was teaching in because all the students had blankets and the light was low. And she came in and she saw me. Obviously, she knew it wasn't me, but she was like, you know, people were dressed up. It was on Halloween, and she came into the room. She turned the light on, and she sees blonde hair with a head, and the person obviously isn't moving. So she's like, hello. And then she sort of like pulls the blanket off, and she's like, ah! And it was all on tape. We were all laughing. So some people thought it was very funny. Some people did not think it was funny.
And that is funny too. People thinking that it's not funny is funny.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, this is yoga. What is this? But yeah, so we used to do a lot of, you know, kind of pranks and stuff like that. I used to prank a lot of people with that prosthetic head. So that was something that was just very, very funny. And that was around, you know, the Halloween time. But I can't think of anything lately except for maybe doing a handstand with my boxer that was just like licking my face and trying to like scratch my hair. That was kind of funny. Have that on tape. But other than that, I can't think of anything else because it's been a pretty serious, you know, time.
Yes, I'd love to see that video how he's scratching your hair.
Oh, I love it. I'll send it to you.
Oh, you have the video.
I have
Excellent.
it.
Yes.
I literally was upside down, and this was just like a week ago. And he's a boxer. He's super hyper. And I couldn't even kick my legs up because I'm like, okay, this isn't gonna work. And I have it on video. And he's like scratching my hair, and he's like, what are you doing? Yeah. So I can't. It's hard to do any kind of yoga if he's in the studio.
Yes, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have a bit of a practical question for you and for all of us. I'm very curious about what you think about receiving and replying to emails, which we all are doing right now, do you have any inferno strategies for dealing with excessive amount of emails?
I just block them. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. You know what? I honestly don't get that many emails. You mean from like students and stuff, or just like spam that comes in?
I have all sorts of emails like, coming in. Like I have, you know, those subscriptions, yeah, that you
Oh yeah,
subscribe to, like
yeah.
weekly whatever, weekly updates, weekly information letters, and then I have emails from spam, emails from work, emails from just friends, and all sorts of kind of email. Like and it's quite a bit. I mean, it's not too excessive for myself, but I know some people have quite a few.
I have a lot of emails, I have to say, but I also have like 5 different email addresses.
Oh, well, see, yes. So how do you handle it all? It must be some kind of inferno strategy.
There is a strategy, actually.
Is it a secret or you can share it?
No, I mean, I have my one for the students, like on my newsletters and stuff, and like the website. So if you have a question,
Uh-huh.
it goes directly to me. And then I have like one that's connected to Yelp, and then connected to like the Google business page. I have that one. And then I have my personal email address. And I think I have like another one from before that I use that I always check, because you never know. You never know if you're going to miss, an email. But yeah, it's very annoying. Like my personal, like all the, you unsubscribe. You got to just do that.
Yes, again, letting it go, right?
Yeah, so
Cleaning
you
it
don't
up.
look at your phone and you have 55,000 emails that come up from all of the
Yep,
different emails.
exactly. That can happen. That can happen. Well, sometimes I catch up on deleting them when I'm in the lineup, or when I have a few
Uh-huh.
minutes, spare minutes, and I'm like trying to, to get things done, and just use my time wisely. And that's when I kind of delete them. And sometimes my phone suggests me, do you want to unsubscribe because you don't open them? So why
Yeah,
don't you unsubscribe? It always makes me smile.
yeah. And sometimes you just have to, I mean, sometimes I'll even go into my spam and I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't even see that email. So I'm careful. I mean, I look at every single email that I have, because you can miss a very important email.
That's true. Exactly.
Especially
Yeah,
when
we
you're
don't want that.
delete, 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 delete.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for this practice, for the tips. And my last question for you will be, if you could throw a party in your yoga studio, what type of party would it be?
Let's see. If I was going to throw a party, you know what? It would be a Bollywood, Indian,
Okay.
Indian food, belly
Bollywood.
dancers. Yeah, Bollywood music, reading palms, having like mini massages and mini facials, and just bringing everybody together, doing like a trunk show with some really, cool yoga clothes. I would love to do something like that. I mean, I've done stuff like that before, and it just kind of brings everybody together, trying on clothes, and yeah, just the music, Bollywood music. We used to watch the Bollywood Indian videos in India like every night. That was like our movie night. So I love Indian music.
That's a great
Bollywood,
idea.
yeah, a Bollywood party. That's the party I haven't
Bollywood
had
party.
that. Yeah,
I love this idea. I think it's a lot of fun. And especially you can dress up, right? Like
yeah,
lots of opportunities to dress up.
yes. Dress up, have some good vegan food. Keep it healthy. Get your palms read. Yeah, palms read. Your cards, all kinds of stuff like that. That's the kind of party I would have. It's
Excellent.
different. I always like to do stuff just a little bit different, things that people haven't done before. Now watch everyone's gonna do it. Just That's
Okay.
fun.
Yes, no, I like this idea. I mean, right now, any kind of party sounds like it's like a dream. Like it
Oh,
sounds like,
I know.
something we need so badly, right?
Yeah, we'll get
Because we,
there. We'll get there when the time's right. We'll
yes.
just
Yeah.
that's the whole thing with just like patience. You just have to be patient.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for answering all those questions. I hope it didn't overwhelm you.
Oh no, no.
No? Yes,
Great.
I had fun coming up with them.
No, they're great questions.
Do you have any final thoughts, any final insights for yoga studio owners? to keep it hot, to keep it hot, and operating, and anything that we can suggest to keep studios going?
You know what would be a really good idea for studio owners, would all like maybe like once a month have like a Zoom meeting and just kind of share ideas of, we're all in different locations. We know that the Bikram studios in New York are closed. I think all of them are closed, correct?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
And just like sharing some ideas, and because it's really hard as a studio owner right now, to be closed down. It really is. It's like, I feel blessed because the weather's beautiful and I can teach outside, but there is a lot of people that won't go outside. They want to be inside. And so I just think that, just networking and then sharing ideas, like maybe having the Zoom, maybe Rudy could set it up, maybe like once a month, just talking about like ideas of different events, different workshops, because workshops are always really good to have.
Sure, I'll let him know.
I mean, it's not a competition. We're all like in different places on the map. Why not, network?
Yes,
on Zoom.
Yes, to keep the inspiration going and share the good vibes.
It's such a beautiful practice. Yoga, all forms of yoga. So for me, it's like, yes, I teach Bikram yoga, I teach Infernal Hot Pilates, but there's yin, there's vinyasa, there's so many different types of yoga, and that's why I had changed the name to Hot Yoga Plus Palm Springs, and it's not because of the man Bikram. It's not. It's because we teach more than Bikram. We have a hot room and we have a moon room.
Exactly. And it sounds like people love it.
They do. And we have all kinds of stuff, and we all should all share and promote all types of yoga, not just one or two.
Exactly. Since you see a lot of demand for the variety, not just one specific
right
type.
exactly.
And it's great. Well, you know what? I see that the snow on my patio is melting. This conversation is so hot. Annmarie, you're so hot, and your yoga studio is so inspiring. I'm gonna show you. The snow is melting rapidly.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Yes.
Oh, I see the bear in the background.
Yes. Well, he's hanging out there.
Aw.
They have their bear paths, like they always walk kind of the same trail. So I think it's one of them, but he usually comes in the night, like not during the day. And I think this conversation, it has a good vibe. Like like this bear is like a sign that, girls, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. I feel like if I was where you're at right now, there was like a baby bear that I'd like try to take it.
Exactly. Yes. Well, I've seen quite a few here, but this one I know him. Like I definitely I recognize him from in the summer. They would come often. Right now, yeah, they haven't.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to hibernation very soon. Very soon.
Okay.
So it's definitely not the desert here. Not hot.
Right. Not the desert.
Not the desert. Okay, so let's wrap up. Annmarie, thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast. It was my pleasure, and I did get hot. I'm feeling much warmer, and I'm very happy about this. I'm gonna save this feeling of warmth with me for the rest of my day, or maybe for the rest of my week.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And for everybody watching us and listening to us, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. We're gonna have more Karmatalks coming up, and all the best. Thank you.
All right. Bye. Namaste.